Over the past 2 decades, there have been countless players who have shaped WoW's history. Whether it was Swapxy showing his incredible warrior tricks, or Wreckful demonstrating the power of control, these players all have something to teach us about what it means to play PvP. And now in WoW's 20th anniversary, the game is more competitive than ever before. Today, we're going to take a step back from the past to look into the present, and at the 5 players who are defining the future of the game we love. And through them, we will learn 5 different ways to play WoW PvP. Let's start with the concept of playing for pressure. In the words of Chanimal, who has won BlizzCon and multiple AWC championships, there are some rank 1 players who I am not afraid of. And then there is Pikaboo. What Pikaboo can teach us about PvP is the value of being aggressive and unpredictable. You've probably heard a million times that WoW is a scripted game. Every arena follows a familiar path that you can trace on a graph. And at a certain point, you begin to notice a lot of patterns. You know when someone is going to pop cooldowns, when they're going to use their trinket, who they'll attack, and so on. 99% of players are following the same path. Pikaboo is part of the 1% who doesn't, because he understands one basic principle. If you exert enough pressure, you will break the script. Pressure is not unique to WoW, it's something you can experience in every game. To master pressure, you need to make your opponent uncomfortable. This is something that most players misunderstand. It's not just about doing big damage, but dictating where that damage goes and trying to stay ahead of momentum no matter what. In order to create true pressure, you need to be both aggressive and unpredictable, being willing to play slightly off script in order to disorient your opponents. It's a mental game meant to force otherwise perfect players into making mistakes. Pikaboo plays the ideal comp for dictating tempo, Rogue, Shadow Priest. Together with Whaazz and Absturge, the move plays with pressure as their #1 priority. Few teams have been able to replicate their success since it requires a willingness to play slightly unconventional. Of course, no conversation about Pikaboo is complete without talking about Whaazz. These 2 players are, without a doubt, the best rogues currently playing WoW PvP, but with a completely opposite approach to the game. They both represent their warring meta between their 2 regions. The metagame on Europe has always been structured and organized, while across the pond, North America plays in unbound freedom. Neither one of these playstyles is better, they're just different. One reason why Echo has had enormous success is because Whaazz understands that in a structured meta, the winning strategy is to play perfect. It's no accident that Echo is known for their RMP, which is the best comp at creating win conditions. But in order to consistently win as RMP, you need to plan your victory minutes in advance. Whaazz is a master at carving a path to victory through repetition, strategically planning target swaps in order to gradually chip away at defensive cooldowns until nothing is left. It is a very European approach to the game, being very organized with perfect execution. We can see hints of this mentality by simply looking at his UI, which places enormous value on tracking the enemy team's defensives. There's always going to be the perfect target to attack and the perfect strategy to execute. Whaazz and Pikaboo might have 2 different approaches to the game, and despite both players coming from a rogue background, they are able to adopt their unique playstyles to every class they play. The reason they're able to make those fancy plays is because they have a fundamental understanding of damage. Once your rotation becomes second nature, everything else will become easier. Those feelings of tunnel vision start to go away, and now your focus can be directed to crowd control or landing important interrupts. Once damage isn't taking up all of your mental load, your ability to make quick decisions will improve dramatically. If you want to start experiencing this for yourself, check out our brand new class courses after this, where you will learn PvP fundamentals directly from rank 1 players and easy to follow videos. We even have over 200 arena commentaries where you can learn winning strategies from rank 1 players. Everything we offer is backed up by rank up gain guarantee, where we promise you will see real rating gains while using our service or your money back. Click the link below to get started with an exclusive discount offer. Anyway, while we often get fixated on the skill of the player we're watching, it's too easy to ignore what's happening in the background, and how great players are often supported by great teammates. When we were watching Whaazz and Raikou strike the final blows to win BlizzCon 2019, we all completely missed what was happening in the background, as Chazz landed a Cyclone within a millisecond of the smoke bomb ending, denying the life cocoon that could have saved Blizzo's life. There have been many different types of healers over the years, but there's something special about those who truly play for their team. There's a tendency for some healers to emphasize convenience, playing only for themselves. But if there's one healer that truly plays for his team, it has to be Mehh, a crucial piece of the machine that has allowed Echo to dominate Europe for years. Mehh plays with the mindset of a DPS, and no, this doesn't just mean doing damage. Sometimes it's as simple as being in the right position to assist with CC. Sometimes it's a quick dispel, tanking a kick, or trading a cooldown to keep his team offensive. The best healers of all time truly understand the value of playing for their team. Mehh understands that his role is not to win the game alone, but instead enable his team to win the game together. This mentality isn't just healer specific, and these days it's a more important thing than ever to adopt a team-focused mindset. The problem that many players have is that they view solo shuffle as a solo game. But as we become more and more disconnected from the social aspects of WoW, one thing we can all do better is recognize that we cannot win alone. Going back to the battle between Europe and North America, there has been one single player who has managed to topple both regions. That player is Chanimal, who can teach us the importance of playing around game states. Let's go back to the idea that every arena game is predictable. It has its peaks and valleys, which represent game states. Sometimes you're in the driver's seat and it's your turn to be aggressive, to snowball pressure, forcing your opponents on the back foot. Other times it is you who finds himself off balance. You are the one who is now under pressure and need to find a way to deal with it. What Chanimal does better than almost every player in history is finding how to play around both game states, which he does with perfect positioning. Warlocks have the highest death rate in solo shuffle, and for most players, they are an easy kill target. But when you watch Chanimal, you would think that Warlocks are immortal. He toys around with melee like a cat playing with a mouse, knowing that even if he's getting attacked, that he's actually the one in control. And once the game state switches, Chanimal knows that it's his time to snowball momentum by positioning himself in a way to never let the enemy healer play the game. By being in the right place at the right time, you can always be in control. That's why we teamed up with Chanimal to produce our brand new caster course at skillcap.com, where you can learn exactly how to abuse positioning to win you games, along with other high-level tips. Before we reveal our fifth and final player, we need to take a trip back in time to 2015. When the unstoppable force of Skillcap's EU would face off against their opponent, SK Gaming, who was an immovable object, playing a comp centered around one thing: efficiency. The matchup was RMD versus Turbo Cleave, the number one offense in the game going head to head with the number one defense, where every single action was met by a reaction. Every single go being blocked by one cooldown trade at a time. SK Gaming's efficiency would lead them to become world champions, with Swapxy being a key part of this team's victory. And through him, we can learn what it means to play efficiently. Swapxy is widely regarded as one of the most defensive players in all of Europe. In a region known for its defensive play, he manages to stand out. To play efficiently means treating the game like a budget, trading defensive cooldowns 1-to-1 so there is never any waste. In other games, we might call this playing for value or playing optimally. Efficiency turns the game into a mathematical equation. We can see glimpses of this with Team Liquid and specifically Sea-Doo, who likes to make 1-to-1 efficient trades as a healer. It's no surprise that the most ubiquitous PvP weak aura pack was developed by Mehh. It was born out of necessity during Shadowlands, where players could die in a split second. To adapt to this environment, you need to become a brick wall, ready to make a split-second trade while keeping some gas left in the tank for later. In many ways, Pikaboo and Swapxy are on opposite sides of the spectrum. One is a shield and the other a sword. But what we've learned today is that there are many ways to play PvP. The true beauty of Arena is that you can express something about yourself through your playstyle. Mastering your class is just one part of the equation. We here at Skillcap have worked alongside some of the best players in the world. We're talking big name streamers, AWC competitors, even BlizzCon champions, all with one goal in mind: to teach you, yes, you, exactly how to play your chosen spec in Arena. So if you want to start your own journey to greatness, why not do so with a guarantee that you will gain at least 400 rating? Otherwise, you get your money back, no questions asked. Alright, and that will do it for this one. We here at Skillcap want to thank you for watching, and we'll catch you in the next one.